Hi guys, it's Ray. We are starting a new cup today. I have a 30-ounce thick from Makerflow Crafts because I wanted a lot of real estate on the cup for this. This is just a fabric fat quarter from Walmart. I browsed the fabric the other day and I saw this one with the turtles on it, and yeah, it was a no-brainer that this is the one I wanted. The fat quarters are great because you don't have to buy a ton of fabric for one cup. You can just get a little bit, and they have all kinds of different things. Or you can just buy a piece of regular fabric. But 100% cotton is what this one is. So I'm going to cut this to size, close to size anyways. And I'm going to iron it up so it doesn't have... it's going to have fold marks. And I'm just going to press those out real quick. And even though this is a small piece of fabric, it's going to have, even at this 30-ounce thick, there's still enough here to do like 2 cups if I wanted. So, but I want to get those lines out before I start. But so I'm gonna have to pick I can either do it so my green turtles end up upside down, which I might do because I want a green turtle on here, I think, and the blue one. So I think I'm gonna end up wrapping it this way. And that keeps the starfish right side up. But there'd still be, you know, from here down. So that's kind of at that crease. So I could actually, if I wanted to, do 2 of this size cup on this piece of fabric. But what I'm going to do is just kind of trim it down to size. Which in this case I'm going to cut basically at this crease. Just slightly above. And I'm going to put this piece aside for something else. And I want to make sure I get a full blue turtle on here. And hopefully a full green one would be the ideal. And that will work. So, good. Because I don't want all of this excess while I'm working. And again, I'll trim the seam further at some other point. So that's what I'm going to start with. This is the piece I'm going to go press flat. And after that, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put a coat of Mod Podge on the cup and then apply the fabric and put a coat of Mod Podge over the top. After I trim up my seam, this seam, not necessarily the bottom and the top seams yet. And then once that's dry, I will do another coat of Mod Podge after I've trimmed up these seams, top and bottom. And I'm going to get a good 3 coats of Mod Podge on top of the fabric. And I'm going to run my trimmer, my edge trimmer, so that I end up with a band of the silver at the bottom and silver at the top. And then I will probably come in and glitter the bottom on my final coat of Mod Podge before we move on to epoxy. So I'm gonna get this prepped and I will be back to get it on the tumbler. Okay, so my fabric is ready. I'm gonna do obviously this way so my starfish are straight. Get my Mod Podge opened up. I just got a bristle brush. And I want to grab an arm for the tumbler so I can sit it on a stand. I forgot. Just get this on here. Okay. I'm going to give it a good coat. I'm going to just kind of get it started. Make sure it's smoothed out. Okay, so that base coat is dry and I trimmed the top already. So I'm going to go ahead and trim the bottom. Just going to spin it around on its base a couple of times just to make sure I get a cut all the way around. I'm still not quite all the way. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to not cover this turtle's head or any part of the green turtle, but I do want to make sure I am solidly in the overlap. So I'm going to try and hold this down. And I believe my top might not be cut all the way through. Now, hopefully I can get this piece off. Going to chase that because I really do want to be down to the stainless. So I'm going to follow that line one more time. I'm going to turn my cup though so I can make sure I get all the way. And I don't have the best steady hand. chase that line. And I'm going to attempt to peel this back off that bottom layer without fraying it too much or stretching it too much. And hopefully I can now lift this piece. If you want to run a tape line to follow as a guide, feel free. I'm just going to trim up my phrase. I'm going to get my Mod Podge brush back out. I'm just keeping it in a Ziploc bag in between coats, just to keep it wet. I'm going to get my Mod Podge back out. I'm going to put this back on the arm. This is on a giant football. Okay. Now I'm going to run another line of Mod Podge underneath that fabric. And fold it back down. And there should be no stainless showing. This won't be a seamless cup. It's just not, it's not possible with the fabric. So I'm going to double check for phrase again. I don't want it to get any bigger. A little one here at the bottom I don't like. I thought this one had a brand new blade, but I'm starting to doubt that. Okay, so there's what we have so far. I'm going to move that out of the way. Now this is going to take 3, 4, 5, however many coats you're comfortable with to make sure you are fully sealed. So I'm going to do 2 more coats that you won't see exactly the same way, and then I'll come back in for a 4th coat. Okay, I am ready to come in with my final coat and get my glitter on. I think I've got 4, possibly 5 coats on here at this point. It doesn't feel like fabric now, it feels like the Mod Podge, so it should be sealed well enough. I don't really want to be peeling this up. Okay, so I'm going to grab a piece of paper, so I'm ready for that. I have my brush that's still in my baggie, so let's get this last coat on and then we will glitter. I like to start by the seam, that way I know I've been around. Okay, so I picked Tropics Blue from It's Pretty Personal's Basics line for this. And I'm going to have to be a little careful applying my glitter because I don't want to go way up the cup. But the whole thing is wet at this point. So I'm going to hide that seam. I'm going to just pick up a little bit and sprinkle it here and there. I don't really want to go over the turtles too much. But I don't want to use a cheat glitter all over this, but I do want a little bit of sparkle, so. Point. So once it's fully dry, I will be back and we will get a coat of epoxy on it. This isn't going to get a decal or anything. I'm just going to let it stand alone. So we'll be back. So I am ready to get the epoxy on this. But as I'm watching it spin, I'm like, oh, it's got a little sparkle, but not what I want. You know, so I think I'm going to add a little bit of my Perfect White Diamond Dust from It's Pretty Personal to this because I kind of want it to have an all over sparkle. So I'm only going to use a little bit, like, you know, on my popsicle stick, and I'm mixing this in 30 mLs of the resin. So because I want it to sparkle. And I haven't decided if I'm keeping this one or not yet, so if I keep it, I want it to sparkle. So I'm just getting that all incorporated. I am using KS Resin Liquidy Split for this one, Ultra UV. So just gonna go ahead. I did mix up a full 30 mLs. It might be hard to see. Some of these spots on the fabric are like shadowy. That is part of the fabric. That is not epoxy soaking in. So, there you go. Look at that shimmer. Gorgeous. So, if you're going to do a fabric tumbler, definitely do yourself a favor. Have an edge tool and lots of Mod Podge. You can use whichever Mod Podge. I just prefer that hard coat version for this type of tumbler. To me, it just works better. So, personal preference, but whichever one you want to use, go for it. So, that is it. Thank you for watching.